I cannot. I can't. The hands.
The hand is so funny. And I'm cracking myself.
Don't stop. Brain 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 don't stop.
Hello, everybody. I have some news. First of all, it's October 29th, and you are watching Chewed Gum Live. I am Eve, and the news I have to share is that, unfortunately, right before we went live, I found out Alyssa cannot join me tonight. But in her place, somebody else has offered to step in, and I am so excited to introduce you to them. This is Mike Wazowski, my dear friend. Thank you so much, Mike. I really can't be serious. This is like the best thing I've ever.
Yeah, guys.
The little hands and your little, it's so amazing. Okay, spoiler, that is Alyssa in there. Happy
Hey, guys.
Halloween, everybody. I like most girls would be like, yeah, I'm gonna dress up. Not most girls, but you know, the Halloween girlies like me are like, I'm gonna be a kitty cat. I'm trying to think what's something. I've been a deer. I've been all the like basic bitch stuff. And as a basic bitch, I get to say that. And then Alyssa responds to the chat because I was like, hey, do you want to dress up tonight? And she goes, yes, I can be Mike Wazowski if you want. So anyways, are you able to talk to us from in there?
Yeah, I should be able to. Hold on.
It was really amazing.
Hold on. Is my microphone unplugged?
I mean, I can hear you. You're
you
great.
can hear me?
Yeah, you're totally great.
Okay. Hey.
I'm just making sure you can like hear us and everything.
Oh yeah. I this is my favorite costume I've ever bought. This is the best money I've ever spent. It's honestly, it's like a little tent in here. Like I have my phone, I have my mic in here. I'm chilling.
This is so amazing.
I wish that I could give like a better like sort of 360 of this whole thing, but I'm attached to the to the microphone. It really is. And it reminds me of like, remember in Mean Girls, if you've seen it, when she's like why are you dressed so scary? And she's like, it's Halloween.
It's Halloween. Yes,
feel.
that's what it is. That's exactly like the impression this whole moment is giving. And I really love it.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. Meanwhile, I was like, I've got cat ears, so here we go.
The ears are good. We're either side of the Mean Girls train right now. I'm a cat, you know?
I love it. I love it.
I will say there are people in the chat who are. I also have my phone in here with me.
Oh,
there
you're
people
even
in the chat
paying attention to the chat. You are the best host on here ever. Look at you.
Oh yeah, girl. There are people in the chat saying that it looks claustrophobic. It's actually so roomy. There's a lot of room in here. Like it's.
I love that you can. It already like kind of creates a barrier. You know, like if you go like that's if I were to have to go out on Halloween, hands down, that's what I would want to wear because then like people have to stay away from you. You know.
Yeah,
I love it. I love it so much.
I agree. Okay, I think I'll remove Mike Wazowski now because I have a different costume because I can't sit in this is the problem. I tried and Amargan was like, the costume looks like it's eating you. And I was like, it kind of is.
Yeah, fair enough.
So
we can take you off screen if you want.
Mike Wazowski. It doesn't really matter. Doesn't matter to me.
We can just all watch the
however
big
you want to preserve the magic, that you can do that. But it's easy. There's like a little zip in the back. I'll mute myself though because I have a feeling that it's going to get a little precarious. It's going to get noisy. Over here.
Well, in the meantime, I hope you guys will call in tonight, 720-619-2288. I posted on my Instagram story. If you've ever wanted to debate me while I'm dressed as a cat and convince me that a god exists, tonight is your night to try that. Or my co-host over here, let's see what she is. Let's see what's going to happen. This is hilarious. Oh, first, she's just gorgeous. And I'm seeing we had some theist callers on the line that I was really looking forward to talking to. They've since hung up. I'm not sure why. But I would love for you guys to call in. 720-619-2288. At the top, like the title on our show tonight is Halloween Evil. So if some theists or anybody who thinks that wants to call in and talk to us about that, we can. We also love taking calls on, advice about deconstruction. If you want to talk about purity culture, if you have some questions about sexuality for Alyssa, and then I'll just sit here and say, yes, she's right. Then go for it. Oh, look how cute you are. We're little like farm animals together. You're still muted, so we can't hear you, but I'm pretty sure you said you're a cow. Oh, you're the cutest cow. I love it so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
I love that you were so down. I texted Alyssa literally a few hours ago. I was like, I just realized it's, like Halloween week. Also, I was laying in bed I have a weighted, it's actually my partner's, like we call it heavy blankie, but it's a weighted blanket. And I've just been living under that during this election season because my anxiety is off the charts.
Yeah.
But Alyssa was just like, I will dress up.
I highly recommend a blow up costume for when your anxiety is a little high because it's really hard to feel sad in that thing.
Just seeing you has made everything better. So I'm so happy to be here. We haven't, I guess last week you were gone and the week before I was sick. So wow, Halloween theme is really happening. So how are you? What's been happening? What's new?
God, what has been happening? I don't know. Everything's kind of, I feel like my brain is fully just like in the election stuff. That's all I think about at the current moment. And it's just really stressful.
I was hoping you were going to have some like exciting news. Did I see that you were at When We Were Young Fest?
Yes, I was.
I'm very jealous.
It was the craziest day of my life. I met Patrick Stump. He was just like walking around and I saw him and I literally was shaking like a leaf and I had my friend take a picture of us and I literally like couldn't say anything. I was literally just standing there like, and he was like, do you want a picture? And I was like, yeah, I do. That was crazy. It was crazy. And my friend, it was wild. My friend, was doing like a thing with Cobra Starship. So I got to like be in the artist area, which was crazy. And I the whole time I was like, what am I doing here? What am I doing here? But I saw like, it was crazy. There were like the trailers, like the little buses and stuff. And it would just say like simple plan and like dashboard
That is
confessional.
so
And I'm like,
cool.
it was so crazy. But the actual festival was really fun. And I got to meet some like internet friends that I hadn't gotten to meet before in person. So that was really exciting.
I love that.
What have you been up to? I feel like you've gotten to do some like fun stuff with friends recently.
Yes, I went back to Atlanta, which is where I'm from and where I moved from last year, and I got to visit my friends. It was one of my friends' 40th birthday, and we just had the best time. The biggest thing that happened is our album finally is out. So I know I've been talking about it kind of like as long as we've been doing the show, I think, and because we had just started working on it when I went to Finland. So it's like the biggest relief of my life to have that out just in time for me to now latch on to election season anxiety, which is kind of unfortunately making me keep forgetting that we just did a really cool thing. But everyone has been so amazing. I've seen a lot of you from the line over like in the comments saying that you've been listening, and that just means so much. If you're new here, the reason that the album is even relevant to anything is it's a concept record, and the whole thing is kind of like an allegory to the idea of leaving high control religion. I did use vampires to tell the story. And the opening track features Kevin Max from DC Talk, which was so cool to have him on there because I grew up, this little Christian girl listening to DC Talk, and now to have Kevin Max, who was my absolute favorite, his voice is unreal, say, like validate the project and want to be a part of that was really cool. So anyways, that's out. Now I'm just, living in a perpetual state of anxiety about our rights potentially just being dashed.
But the good news is that you got a beautiful piece of art out before that. And it's so good. It is so good. Like I am it's so crazy that you're my friend and that you are that, like, you just like have that talent every day. Like you just walk around with that in your body and then you just created
so
this like wonderful thing.
Aww.
It's so wild. So if you guys have not listened to it, you really gotta. It's just so good.
That's so kind. Thank you. Your post meant so much to me. I was like, one of my like extremely cool friends thinks that my music sounds good. Like, what?
Are you kidding? It's so good.
You're obviously like a dear friend, but then you also go under the category of cool friends because I see like you're just a cool. I am always stunned that you're not Gen Z, because to me Gen Z is just so like the definition of cool, and I'm just like very much millennial cringe, and that's okay. I accept it, but that's why I have people like you in my life to remind me of cool things.
I'm honored that you think that I'm very cool because I started the show
as you sit there as a cow and as you
okay, my Mike Wazowski literally why you're crumpled cool. On the floor.
That is why you are cool.
Oh my god!
It looks like, so I'm not sure what's going on because now I'm wondering if something's wrong with Colin's studio. I just messaged our producer to see.
Yeah,
but
it's working.
It is working. Okay,
it is working.
Great.
We just have no calls.
Okay, lines are open, guys, which is crazy. We've never had this happen to where we don't have callers.
That's wild.
Maybe everyone else is crippled with their anxiety. Maybe theists have finally decided that they don't have actually good reasons to believe
they gave
the God
up.
that they believe, and so they aren't going to call in and defend their faith.
Wow,
but that's fine. We can chat all day long. Let's see. Also, we had some people, I'm looking at the poll. So the poll is Halloween an evil holiday? And some people said yes, that it is, and that they can prove it to us. Why you're not calling? I'm truly unsure.
I would love to know.
About a dozen people.
Yeah, what?
Wow.
What's the thing?
What were you not allowed to celebrate Halloween?
I was not. Well, so I wasn't most of my childhood, and then I think we got a little bit more like progressive Christian, and then we could go to trunk or treating events.
Okay.
And then I remember when my parents stopped being pastors, so it's like we didn't have to be the example anymore, and they just went into ministry full time. And we all like dressed up for Halloween, and my dad would like open the door for trick-or-treaters, and it was so fun because we had never done that before.
Wow.
So I did overcompensate as an adult, and now I like a few years ago, I bought like hundreds of dollars worth of Halloween decorations and just
Love
did
it.
all the things. So, what about you? Were you always a Halloween girly?
Always a Halloween girly. I'll even show you a picture. When I was in first grade, actually, because my birthday is October 19th. So my birthday is
We
really
missed your
close.
birthday?
Yeah, my birthday was on a Saturday. It was last Saturday, I think. I'm not a big birthday person, I'll be honest.
I'm not
But
either.
birthdays stress me out. They really stress me out. But for my birthdays, because it's so close to Halloween, I've had Halloween birthday parties like my whole life. Like this is my first grade birthday party with my best friend.
Why are you so cute? Oh my goodness.
Why am I scheming is my question. Like what am I up to?
That makes the most amount of sense. So that's adorable. That's so cute.
Yeah, so I've always been a Halloween girly, and I luckily have always been able to celebrate it, because I know that that's not something that not everyone can do. So I was very lucky, and my birthday was really close, so I would always do Halloween themed birthday parties, and it was the best.
That makes sense. I love that.
Yeah.
I have a bit of a controversial question. It's not, I already know what you're going to say, but for those listening, because I'd also love to take calls on this. What do you think about all the opinions about women dressing up in more provocative costumes? Like, how do you feel about using Halloween as a time to like dress it, like, make a costume more
slutty,
sexy,
I love
slutty?
it.
Yeah.
I think it's fun. I'm like, if you want to be slutty Bart Simpson, go for it. Like, it's creative and it's fun, and like we so rarely get to like have a reason and an excuse to like be dressed as like, in a sexually expressive way, aside from like wearing literal lingerie. And so yeah, I love when girls take something and make it slutty. I think it's kind of funny. Like slutty Bart Simpson, that's hilarious.
Oh yeah. That's amazing.
So funny.
That's so good.
But yeah, and I also enjoy costumes that are just like silly and stupid, like blow up costume. Like I think Halloween is like such a fun time to just have so much self-expression, and so whatever way you want to do that, like, you should. As adults, we so rarely get to play, and it's like it's a day that we can actually
thing to call it. Yeah,
we can actually do it.
I fully agree.
Think?
But I totally agree. I've only dressed up for Halloween a few times in my life because of my life circumstances. But the one time I dressed up as anything, remotely slutty was as a demon-possessed nurse. I mean, not nurse. Why am I saying nurse? Demon-possessed nun. And that was really fun. Can you tell that was my first Halloween as an atheist? I was like,
oh my God.
But I was living in like Little 5 Points, Atlanta, which was this they go all out for Halloween, and the crazier the better. So that was really fun. As you can imagine, people were not happy about it, but I didn't have a platform or anything then. So it was just friends and family that were mad at me. Not also thousands of strangers on the internet.
Just people you personally know.
Yeah, exactly. Just that. But if there is anybody that wants to call and tell us why women shouldn't dress how they want for Halloween, I'd also love to hear that argument, because I know, as I've heard from them, that there are people who think that. So I think that goes on under like the line that we have the title here. I do see we have some callers coming in now. So now what will probably happen is the lines will end up filling up. So call in now so we can get to it. And let's take this first one from Jenny. Are you down?
Yes, let's do it.
Okay. Hey, Jenny, you are on the line with Alyssa and Eve. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing well.
Good.
What do you want to ask us tonight?
So, Eve, I was listening to you the other day, and you were talking about having friends and family who are Trump supporters. And I was wondering how you deal with that, because for me, I have a very small circle of friends, and none of us are Trump supporters, so it's a little easy for me. But I feel like I've been saying, like, it's crazy that we've come to a time that I can ask somebody one question and know everything I need to know about who they are as a person. And that is, are you a Trump supporter? And if they are, then to me, you go against everything I believe in. You go against me, the people I love, women, just everybody. You go against all of that. And I was wondering how you balance that, being able to maintain a relationship with somebody who is following something that is so hurtful to you and the people you love as it is to me and the people I love.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good question. And first of all, it's a lot easier to do that when he's not in office and there's not an election happening. It's way more in our face than ever right now. I mean, I just went over to my family's house for dinner and they have a massive Trump flag waving outside of the house. So to have something like that in your face it's really frustrating. I think this is such a nuanced conversation because here's the thing. I used to be somebody that would have voted for Trump. And it's not because I'm against women or any of the other reasons that we could sit here and list. I was indoctrinated and convinced that voting for people like Trump was what God wanted me to do. And I think it's important for us to remember that most people are not actively looking to hurt others. They actually think, for whatever reason, that they're picking the better option. Sometimes is it in a selfish way? I do think that. Sometimes do I think that they've actually become convinced that they're helping women and children and other people? Yeah, I think that they are. And the way that I find myself still able to engage is by remembering that they're a human like me. And I try to engage honestly. So it's not like I won't talk about these things. I have to set certain lines with certain family members because then we just can't talk about it. But each of my family members that are voting for Trump would probably give you wildly different reasons for why they are. And what that says to me is that they've all just been convinced to be dogmatic about this one person, and they're trying to rationalize it. It's just like religion. When we have these callers that call in that I think are probably decent human beings that would absolutely be the first to stop violence from happening to another person, will then go on to defend it in the Bible. Because they have to defend it because it's become associated with the identity of being a Christian. And so I think that's what's happened over here in this political world as well. I don't know if any of that's making sense or if you have any follow-up questions, but to summarize, I just have to remember that these people have been convinced of something, and it is up to me to provide a place that's not an echo chamber, and also just to show them what it is to be a human that thinks and does and lives differently than them, because otherwise they're going to just keep staying down that path.
Right. I just feel like there's things that he does that are so cruel to special needs people, to trans people, to minorities, that like I don't understand how people can look past that. Like he's so blatant about these things that are like I don't understand. Even I've never been religious, so I guess from my standpoint, the way that religious people say that they are and say what their beliefs are, like off the cuff, or as though, you would think that like God is loving and God is this and God is that, even though there's so much more to it. But most people that I know that are religious aren't really hardcore going to church or anything like that. They just believe in God and they think they know it all, but they don't. Yeah. So they have that, what do you guys call it, the cafeteria religion? Like, they've picked these things out that they think sound good and they go with that. But like, even if you just have that basic little thing, watching somebody be mean to people who are disabled or a minority or anything like that seems so absurd to me that people are just like, yeah, that was funny.
It is. There's no excuse for it at all. And I also think you have to handle it differently. Like if I had family members that were actively saying like, oh, that was funny, or, those kinds of things, then there are lines that I will absolutely draw after a certain point. I have family members that are what's the word I'm looking for here? They're trying, well, that was taken out of context. That was, they'll find workarounds for everything. It's exactly the same as these people who believe in, like you said, a loving God. Like when they present it, they're like, oh, Jesus is love and all this stuff. And then if you actually look at the Bible, they're following a God who sent a group of bears to maul children for making fun of a guy for being bald. So, they're used to making excuses for really awful things. And trying to find a way to latch it on to to validate their beliefs, So I think that's what happens a lot here, is that I do think it is more rare to find somebody who is like, oh, I co-sign every single thing and I think you should grab them by the, it is rare to find a person who will agree to that level. They do rationalizing. They do this stuff where they try to say, well, that's not really, and it's not really this, just so they can stick with the dogma of this person, because it's become a cult. It's a cult of personality. And I really think getting them outside of their bubble is one of the few ways we're ever going to progress. And that's why I try to stay the course and stay engaged with people that think differently than me, because I think conversations are important. However, I fully support and understand when somebody does need to say, this has reached a level of hate that there is no reasoning with, and I have to cut ties, especially if somebody is trans or queer or anything like that, and you have family members defending these horrific positions that put their very life in danger. I think that's very obvious. Like, okay, yeah, if you need to disconnect from that person, you absolutely should. But if you're wanting to stay in contact, remembering the humanity and the fellow person, trying to bring in some logic and reason, I think that's the way to go about it. Alyssa, do you have a perspective on this?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, it's like there are people that I think because I'm vocal enough about the things that I believe, and just because of like the nature of my job and like my presence in the world and on the internet, I think it's pretty clear that I would never align with someone like Trump. And so people who I suspect are like secret Trump supporters are not, they don't express that around me ever, which is so interesting. And I sort of take that as kind of like it feels almost like, sometimes it feels kind of like they're trying to be respectful. Like they're like, I'm just not gonna engage in this conversation because our friendship is more important than that, or whatever. Or maybe it genuinely is just not really that important to them, and they just are not really, or maybe I'm completely off base. Maybe they're not even Trump supporters. But I think really what has been important to me is to separate people who are like we were saying before, like who would think that it is funny to make fun of a disabled person, or like that sort of behavior, from the people who are kind of like secret maybe Trump supporters. Like I'm not trying to irritate anybody or like pick at anybody's like voter status in casual situations. If something happens to come up, I am happy to like contribute the way that I feel into conversations among friends. And the key, I feel like, with even like the way that we do these calls on the show, whether it's political or it's about sexual stuff or it's about religion, keeping calm. I have to sneeze. Oh, sorry. Excuse me, Jenny. Thank you so much.
That's okay.
But I think keeping your head above water and staying calm and having conversations that are with the least amount of emotional charge that you possibly can bring to the table is really helpful, because once you start getting emotional, they don't hear you anymore, because they're so willing to be like, oh, liberal snowflake, oh, they do everything from emotion and blah 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 and whatever. And I think it's just like not worth it's not worth getting yourself riled up, because you're not guaranteed to change these people's opinions anyway. So like if someone, the way that I would go about a conversation like that is if someone were to talk about like abortion around me, and be like, I can't believe that anyone would ever allow abortions to happen, like whatever, then I would be like, well, you know, I don't know, calmly explain that there are many different reasons why people get an abortion and it's not really anyone's business. And would you like every time you got a yeast infection for your local government to know about that? Should we be reporting that to just in public? No, and that's a yeast infection.
Right.
Can you fucking imagine for something that's more emotional and more involved for some people? Like it's just it has nothing to do with your individual choice. It's the giving the option for a safe medical procedure for anybody who wants and needs it, and it's not the government's fucking business. It's always so interesting too with that conversation specifically how it seems like there are spaces where conservative people want no government and they want all of like this hands-off type of shit, but then in these very specific areas they want the government to be heavily involved. But anyway, I think just trying to stay as keep your emotions out of it to the best of your ability if you're trying to actually have a conversation.
I don't even talk to people. It's like
I get it.
Like I don't have anybody in my life, but I have a cousin who has a trans daughter, and she's young. She's in 5th grade, and her lifelong best friend is like calling her up saying, you have to vote for Trump and you cannot vote for Kamala, and you cannot get your child still refers to her by the previous pronouns and says like you cannot get hormones and like all these horrible things. And I keep telling my cousin, like, you can set boundaries. You can say, this is hurting me. And this is not, they were invited to a party and it was after this big Facebook debacle with pronouns and gender bathrooms. And I said, you don't have to go. And if they ask why, you can say, because I don't feel like that's a safe space for me and my daughter. And that's it. And then you can continue on with the conversation if you're not ready to eliminate them, but you can start setting boundaries.
Yeah, I think that's very wise. When people are crossing boundaries in whether we're talking about politics or religion or how you clean your house, boundaries are deeply important. And when someone can't respect them, that's your sign. Because I can have friendship with people who believe wildly different than me, but if they respect my boundaries within conversation or whatever it may be, if I can bring my friends around them and know that they're still safe, then we have a foundation that I can work with. And as soon as those boundaries are not respected, that's out the window. We no longer have solid footing for any kind of conversation or relationship. So I think that's wise to do it that way. I am lucky in that my family does really respect boundaries. They're very emotionally intelligent, and so they understand that. I don't have them calling me and telling me we can't support what you're doing. My mom's in the group chat asking what size pajamas I want for the matching family PJs, So that's the privilege that I have. But I can tell you that if they were the type of people that were not respecting boundaries, then I wouldn't even engage.
Right. That's what I'm trying to explain to her, to be in a safer place with boundaries. And I want to tell you guys that because of the line, I voted for the first time this year in my life, which is embarrassing, but I'm very excited about it.
No, I'm so proud of you. I'm so happy. That's amazing. Yeah. It's not embarrassing that you went and voted. It's amazing to change your mind and to take in new information and decide that you're going to act differently based off of that. I'm so happy.
And honestly, it's because of the line. It is absolutely 1,000% because of the line, because I was fed information in a way I could digest it and understand it. You guys are absolutely making a difference. I never liked Trump, so I wouldn't have voted for him, but I wouldn't have voted at all. And the things that are on the table now with female reproduction rights, trans issues, like these things are too important. And you guys gave me the confidence to get a mail-in ballot. I already voted for Harris.
Oh, I'm so happy. Thank you, Jenny.
For everybody on the line, really. You guys do an amazing job, and you are making a difference.
That's really great. We'll pass on the word to everybody else. That means so much to hear. And on that note, everybody, I hope you're going out. If you haven't voted already, I hope you have a plan. And if you don't, and you don't think that you should vote, then call me and I will tell you otherwise, and we can have a conversation about it. So, Jenny, thank you so much for your call. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Jenny.
Thanks for taking the time with me, guys.
Of course.
Anytime.
Have a great one. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
That's so cool to hear. I love that.
That was really
Matt
cool.
and I were on the other night, maybe a week ago, I don't remember, but we were, for 3 hours having callers call in that are third-party voters or not voting or Trump voters. And it was so amazing to have these conversations and to hear from some people that actually had their mind changed and said they were going to go vote. I hope they follow up and let me know that they did indeed go vote, but very encouraging. On that note, I have our schedule, which is a little bit complicated because of the election. So let me talk us all through it. We'll see if we can all follow along. We have tomorrow the Hang Up, as per usual, with Matt Delahunty and Christina SSA. And then on Thursday, we have Takis with Arden and Josie. And then we have, the Friday, Saturday political shows as per usual right now during the election season. And then the Sunday show hosts TBA or TBD, I don't know which. But that will be as usual on Sunday. And then Monday, we will have Skep Talk. That's going to be with Forrest Valkai, which is going to be amazing, of course. Then this is where things get different. Tuesday night next week is November 5th. That is Election Day. We will not have Chewed Gum that night. We are having the big-ass election show. And I think a lot of us, if not all of us, are going to be on that. I'm not exactly sure how that's going to go. But I know that we will all be in it together. And I doubt that we'll know anything that night, but we'll at least see things as they go. And then that brings us to Wednesday, which is going to be Chewed Gum. Alyssa and I are going to be live that night. I hope that we are going to be celebrating really good news. I don't know. We still might not know anything by then. I don't know. I don't know how it's going to go. But Wednesday night will be Chewed Gum next week. And then Thursday we will have Takis. And then Friday there is going to be a show with Matt and Jimmy where they're going to talk about the election and everything. And of course, we don't really know exactly what they're going to be talking about or how that's going to go. But that is our schedule for next week. So the main thing for you guys to remember is no Chewed Gum on Tuesday. There will be Chewed Gum on Wednesday. And we hope that it's going to be really good
happy
vibes.
One.
Yes.
Celebratory. If we are, well, I don't know if we're really going to know, but if it seems like we're going to be in a good place next Wednesday, maybe we should have like a tipsy episode. Maybe we have like a couple of drinks.
Let me just tell you, it's going to probably be that either way.
No matter what.
I was about to say, especially the other way. Honestly, if it's bad news, I feel like, and we'll talk to Jemmy about it, maybe we just make that a silly episode where we don't have to worry about anything serious. I don't know. Yeah. We'll talk to Jemmy, but we'll be here for you all either way.
Yeah.
It's going to be intense.
If we need some stress relief next week, maybe we could think about some fun like games or something that we can play.
Yeah. Sounds great. We do have a theist caller on the line. And the only thing is they don't have like a question or we'll see. I'm going to need more specifics, but let's bring in Imperious on the line. Hey,
hello,
Imperious, you are hello, you are live with Eve and Alyssa. How are you doing?
Doing pretty good, getting closer to the weekend, right?
Yeah. So what did you want to talk to us about tonight? I see that you wanted the discussion of women in Halloween, but what exactly is your stance or your argument?
Well, I would say that the secular, I would suggest, or, I would say that the modern day secular Halloween is not a good thing. That
okay. What would you define modern day secular Halloween as, and why is it not a good thing?
The modern day pagan ritual of dressing up as nonsense and giving candy out and pretending to
What are we defining as nonsense? I'm a cat, and I have a cat outside.
Well, yeah, anything like that. Any dressing up.
So dressing up at all.
Yeah. I mean, I can see, little kids, because, I think, kids 8 and under they can dress up and play whatever they want anytime they want. They can go.
Sure. let's get really specific.
Soldiers, or But I'm saying
is what
I would imply that.
Hey, Imperious. Let's get really specific. So, is what Alyssa and I are doing right now? Do you think this is bad? Like how we're both dressed?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would love to hear why.
Well, it's first of all, it's comical. As adults, we shouldn't be dressing up as fanciful nonsense. We should be happy with what we are, and we should have.
Wait, why can't we have fun and be comedic as adults? Why is that bad?
Is it fun to pretend and play pretend like kids?
Yes. It is. It actually is, which is why kids do it. And playfulness is an essential part of being a human. It actually helps your mental health. It helps you connect with other people in society. It creates comedic relief, for example, with the stress of elections and everything going on. So I would say it's not only a good thing, it's essential. Alyssa, you were about to say something.
I agree. I think that that in almost every other area of adult life, we have to be so serious. Why not have fun in the small opportunities where we can?
I mean, that's a little different than what I would say. I mean, I like to have fun all the time. I'm hanging with buddies. We have friends, go hunting. I'm at work.
Is that okay for us to find that it's fun and you to not? Is that okay? Like, you don't have to dress up. So is it okay for us to do it because it's fun for us?
No, but it reflects a juvenility of our society. I think we're in a time where we need to stop focusing on the excesses, the peripherals, and the tertiary things for entertainment and fun. We've had enough fun for the last 40 years.
So you're advocating to not have fun. You're advocating to not have fun.
Yeah, the Chinese aren't having fun, guys.
I don't care.
That's right.
Aren't having fun.
That's right. They go to work and they just stare at a wall until they go to work again. You guessed it.
Well, have you been to China? I have. Do you know what their day life is?
Well, we're getting highly off topic here. So let's stay on you're talking about Halloween and dressing up and how you think that it's not right
like in a city like
you think it's bad. So can you tell us why it's bad? So I'm going to ask you again because I'm going to tell you we're staying on topic. So why is it bad? You've expressed that you don't think people should be having fun. I don't think that's an argument. Can you demonstrate to us why it is bad for us to have fun one day a year dressing up for Halloween?
Yes. I would say that the focus on fun and entertainment in our society is every day of the year. And on Halloween, it's just
you called in to talk about Halloween. So we're talking about Halloween. I'm not advocating for people to dress up every day. I'm talking about one time a year for fun.
Ma'am, I think you're spurging out a little bit. Hold on. I just referred it back to Halloween.
Yeah. You just said you don't think it's Halloween. You said you think we have too much fun all year, and so then Halloween is just an excuse. I'm asking about this day.
No, I said, ma'am,
I don't agree that people are dressing up every year.
Ma'am, calm down. I didn't.
I'm very calm, and I'm just gonna. I'm just gonna warn you. Cool. Hang on. I'm gonna mute you.
He's muted.
I'm just gonna. Yeah, I got it. I'm just gonna warn you.
Hang on, Eve, Imperious. With the call yesterday, you need to not talk over the hosts. Period.
So, Imperious, I'm being calm. I'm talking to you. I am going to keep you on track and make sure that we stick to the argument at hand. That's not me not being calm. So, if you can answer stuff and then not turn this into ad hominem sort of things where you make it about trying to claim that I'm being emotional, then we can stay on track. We can actually address your argument, which is what I'm wanting to do. So let me restate. Let me push us back to where we were, which is you're saying that you think Halloween is an excuse to continue this rampant fun that we're just having all year. And that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Halloween one day a year where we have fun dressing up. And what's the problem with that? You're unmuted now.
Okay. Can I answer the question now? First.
Yep, that's why I unmuted you.
You first said we don't have fun the rest of the year, and I was expressing counter to that. We have fun all the time. Our society is focused on fun all the time, and Halloween is the most egregious express of indulgence of that. I was never off topic, ma'am. You just got upset about what I'm saying. Like that.
Okay.
Is there
was
a
my
limit to
point.
the amount of fun?
Let's sum up your argument then. Let's stay on topic.
That's not
So
even my
you think there
argument.
should be a limit? Then let's try to get to your argument. So what is
My
your argument
argument
exactly?
is
If you wanted to summarize it
multifaceted, ma'am.
in one, let's hear it.
No, my argument against Halloween is multifaceted. You just asked about what you guys were dressing as, and we started there. The argument about Halloween itself is much grander. There's a tapestry much bigger than that about why.
So we don't have all day. This is a call-in show. So you need to be able to present your. It is not a philosophy show, nor have we ever advertised it to be that. It is a call-in show where we have casual conversation, sometimes goes into the territory of debate about different topics. You're welcome to present to us your argument, and we'll tell you what we think about it. So let us know. You have to summarize it. That's part of the ability to be able to be on these shows, is that you need to be able to succinctly express your argument so that we can talk about it.
Okay. Again, I'll condense my argument into 2 sentences. Halloween is a reflection of a dying society that lives on excess, hedonism, and expresses that throughout the world. As a result of Halloween and the continuance of it, it continues the downfall of our society by promoting the very things it promotes: an anti-religious, agonistic, secular altered day.
Which religions are you okay? Because you just said this was pagan. So which religions are you okay with being promoted on Halloween?
Are we going to stay with the topic of Halloween, or are we now going on the topic of paganism?
If you interrupt me again, I will drop the call. So I just finished my sentence with the word Halloween. Would you like to answer it, or do you not remember what I said?
Yeah,
because you were talking.
I remember what you said. I remember the only valid religion is Rome. That's it.
So let's be really clear. You're okay with anti-religion about every other religion. You're not actually advocating for there are other religions.
Cults. They're cults and heresies. They're not religion.
Can you tell me the difference? Can you tell me the difference between a religion and a cult?
Yes, a religion is ordained by the one true God. Everything else is a heresy and a cult.
How would we determine if the one true God ordained a religion or not?
We can go into that. Would you like to start? This goes into nice fun topics.
I just asked you a question. Well, you can answer it, or I can hang up the phone.
Ma'am, are you going to answer? Are you going to get upset? Or are you going to let me answer?
I just asked you a question. It's your turn to answer, or I can let you go.
Okay, yeah. Well, ma'am, you can let me go whenever you want. This is your show. I'm not holding you hostage.
Thank you. Do you want to answer the question, or are you trying to buy time?
Yeah. I'm not biding any time. The question first is, you can trace back to the one historical person, the Lord Jesus Christ, okay, who by historicity standards has never been contrary, has never been refuted. Okay? You look at historicity.
We haven't refuted anything else
you're
either, if you're going to go by those standards.
Are you going to let me answer, or no? Did
Correct.
You want me to answer?
That's my job as a host. It is my job as a host.
So you talk over people as a host. Interesting.
Cool. Yes. Literally, that's our job description, is we're supposed to interrupt people, or else we would have people that make this their platform and go on and on and on, and nobody else would get to call in. If I didn't talk during the other call, then you might not have gotten a chance to call in now. That is my job as a host, is to interrupt you when you're continuing to make point after point after point without getting the first one addressed. So it's my job to keep the call going quickly. I can give you one last chance. I can already tell that this is going to end up not going well because you keep interrupting and you're upset that I'm running the show the way that we're supposed to run the show. Here's your last chance to answer the question. Did he hang up?
Oh.
You must have.
I bet he's trying to make it look like we hung up on him. For the record, guys, didn't hang up on him, was giving him a chance.
My hands are in the chat.
Yesterday, after the call ended, he put in a $2 super chat to say that he won the argument. So hopefully he'll give us some money
I would
again.
love for him to super chat us and tell us that he won. That would be great. We didn't even get to hear an argument.
That was crazy. I was like, I don't even know what to say to this man. Like, I don't even know where to begin. Also, first of all, is there a limit on the amount of fun? Because if I could have a little bit of fun every single day, I will. I will do it every single day. Why would I not dress up on Halloween? Why would I be like, whoa, too much fun, reel it in? What the hell?
Truly an interesting, I don't know. That was such a weird thing. I don't know. Do we know that guy isn't just a troll caller or something? I don't know. Anyways, I mean, I would call that trolling, but like, do we know that he's not actually maybe just an atheist calling in? Because that seemed like somebody trying to make theists look as bad as possible.
That was crazy.
He's not a troll.
Ma'am?
He's just an idiot.
Damn. Yeah, that was calm. When he told me to calm down, and then he progressively like kept getting louder and more intense as he went on.
I mean, that's just...
I would love for him to call Matt and tell Matt to calm down.
Oh,
that would be a real fun time.
For that reason alone, he shouldn't be banned from Call-In Studio, because I need him to get his ass handed to him.
Yeah. Wow. Or maybe he would actually be able to make an argument. Maybe he's nervous when he calls and then just resorts to whatever that was instead of actually just presenting us a good argument, and then we can hear. I don't know.
It's also it's so crazy, by the way, when people call and they are disagreeing with us and we can't get like that, literally just the example of the call that we just had, and like we can't get an actual idea to come across, and they're just blaming it on us consistently. Because I would like for them to watch how many times we have conversations with people that we fully disagree with. Like the show that I did the day that you weren't feeling well with my friend Catherine, we had 2 callers call about body count things. Both of those calls were like 15, maybe over 15 minutes long, but we were going back and forth. Like they were calm, respectful conversations for the most part.
Right.
And like, so we can have conversations, and we do have conversations with people who disagree with us. And all that to say, if you can't have a conversation with us and your point is one that we don't agree with, it's your fucking fault. It's not ours. Figure it out. Figure it out. It's not that hard. Plenty of people do it every single week. So
also, we only have one more caller after this. So I would have been happy to give that call a long time. I mean, I could have given it 20, 30 minutes.
Right.
Because we have time. You know, sometimes we have to end stuff sooner because we don't have time. But I would be, if it was interesting enough, then I'd go late, you know? So that's not a problem either. It's very, very frustrating. I'm afraid I'm going to like smear my whiskers at some point.
The liner, by the way, is perfect. You nailed the liner today.
Thank you. I was trying to channel my inner you. We forgot to say super chats of $5 or more. We will read those at the end of the show. So if you want to tell me how Imperious won the argument with a super chat, go for it. I'm sure Imperious would love that.
That was crazy.
Okay. Well, we do have another caller, and the lines are still open. If you guys want to try to get another call in, we'll probably have time for at least 2 more before we go to super chats. But let's bring on Alexander. Let's see. Hey, Alexander, you are live on Chewed Gum with Eve and Alyssa. What did you want to talk to us about tonight?
Well, I first I saw on the line that you guys were going to talk about, do men really protect women, but I guess you guys switched it up.
We tried to make a Halloween theme. Somebody else picks the titles for those usually. And so I tried to pick something that was more on topic for Alyssa and I for today. If you want to tell us, if you want to make a claim about anything, you're welcome to. And then we can let you know what we think, if we agree or disagree, and then we can go from there.
All right. No, well, I just like to say, I mean, as a statement, I do think that Halloween is evil. I don't think that people dressing up for the Halloween or like, have a mentality of evil, right? Like, but I do think that the frame and the category, the theme that, Halloween is based on is evil. I mean, it's I think that anything that reflects evil, right, like grotesque stuff, can already be considered as an evil thing, obviously.
So, what do you believe evil is? Because I think that it's just a word to describe something that we think is harmful or really bad or something like that. Do you believe that evil is its own entity?
I believe, yeah, that evil is an act. It has the essence of it. Like the act of it is, in its essence, evil. You know what I mean? Like,
so what
like
about Halloween? Would you consider it to be evil?
Well, like the theme of, I mean, it can be pretty self-explanatory once you go into a, what's it called? Like those scare mazes, right? Like everywhere you see, it's just evil. You know what I mean? It's everything that.
I think it's scary. Can you tell me how it's actively harming other people? Like if I choose to go to a scare maze, which I do go annually with my friends, and I close my eyes the whole time because I get jump scared so easily and my heart starts to race. So we could make a call for that, like being a little bit harmful to me physically, kind of, except I'm subjecting myself to it. So, but what do you mean by evil? It's not obvious in my opinion. So that's why I'm asking you, like, what do you mean is evil? Like, do you believe in demons? Is that what's at play here?
Well, that's the side of the point that we can talk about. But I mean, just trying to frame it as to how is it evil. You're trying to get me to answer it. I guess like everything that tries to embody or frame as to take someone's life. How they have it. They have chainsaws. They have all these things they have in the mazes, like killing and just horror stuff. You know what I mean? Like.
Well, have you ever watched something like James Bond or like Fast and Furious, like any of those kinds of movies before?
Yeah, I mean, sure.
Because they kill people in those movies too.
Yeah,
so
but
what makes
it's not to the extent as like how Halloween does it. It's more of a on purpose, grotesque, violent stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
so I would view that. Sorry, I know that some people, like, I think it's gross. Like stuff like that grosses me out. I'm not the type of person to sit and watch a horror movie. So I can agree with you in that, like, I don't enjoy it. But I think there are people who get some kind of not healing isn't the word I'm looking. It's kind of like cathartic, and like it's a way to poke fun at mortality and these things like blood and guts and all this stuff that we all have, and to just kind of have a day where we laugh about it, and where some people love to be scared, and that's a thing, like to go in and see that, and I just think it's funny and fun for them. And if somebody wants to celebrate that way where they're into horror movies or whatever and they like being grossed out, and the same reason, like some people love watching like Alyssa said, these action movies and watching these like really unrealistic things happen in these car chases that could never actually happen, but it's fun for them. So I'm trying to understand how we're getting from I don't like it to evil. Like, what is the actual harm it's causing society? If somebody if somebody's actively engaging in it because they want to, why is that evil?
I also am wondering too, because I know that there are people who there's some correlation between people who watch horror movies and people who are anxious in their day-to-day life. Like they find anxiety relief in watching horror movies because there is some sort of relief in like watching the worst case scenario happen but have it be like in a screen, and like not have to actually live through that experience themselves. And then there's another part of it too where like being scared is an adrenaline rush, and like I have no interest in ever jumping out of a plane, jumping out of a whatever, going bungee jumping. Like that type of adrenaline rush is not for me, but I will gladly watch a scary movie because like I like that adrenaline of like getting scared and then you turn off the TV and it's fine, because I know that what the things that I'm watching, even when I'm going through those mazes and stuff like that, you leave it there, like it's not like you're bringing like this practice into your home and practicing like any of that iconography, I guess, in your own home. It's all, you're doing it for entertainment. And I feel like that's very clear because it's so contained within horror movies, Halloween, like all that kind of stuff. Like it feels so contained to me.
I could say that I like to agree that I hope that you guys do, like, if you see someone just, what do you guys say if you see someone kill somebody, right? Like just straight up murder, would that be considered evil?
Would it be considered
like,
evil? Taking somebody's life, depending on the context, because if it's a school shooter that's going to take out a bunch of kids, if somebody doesn't, like, if that's the only option to stop them, then I can't say that that's just blanket evil. But sure, if there's an innocent person having their life taken, I think that's evil, wrong, bad, whatever word you want to use for it. But Halloween is not, nobody's actually doing that. If Halloween was like the Purge where we go out, kill each other, then I would agree with you that it's evil and bad and wrong and harmful, but it's not.
No, I know. That's why I wanted to put in a different category. Like, there's a thing like where you want to just get scared, right? Of the fact that, you're getting like all these pop-ups and scares and stuff, but like the reflection of evil is being portrayed by the act itself. Like, I can take it back to Fast and Furious analogy. Like, like how you said that if you kill people out of context or in a sort of context, like you're trying to defend yourself, and the part of your brain just registers that as like, well, that's a self-defense move and whatever. But in terms of Halloween, a lot of it is basically just, out of pure will, out of pure just wanting to kill and be grotesque and all these blood and guts. And
nobody's wanting,
no
like,
one's
people that go to these, they're not wanting to kill anybody. It's entertainment. It's like poking fun. Like my friends and I, we get dressed up and we go out to these scare things and we think it's funny and we laugh about it.
Yeah, but I'm saying the reflection, the theme of it is evil itself. Like it's portraying evil. It's not the act of it of you going. It's not evil. It's portraying evil. You can't be there and sit there. You can't be there and be like, well, this is what I'm seeing is not evil. It's just fun. No, it's actually portraying evil. Like if you have
I guess I need you to define evil for me better. You didn't really answer my question of, do you think evil is its own entity? Because I just think evil is a word that we use to describe something being like. Go ahead.
Entity as like, what do you mean entity? Like how we would describe God as an entity? Like it has a personhood.
Sure.
Like no, evil does not have like a mind. Does not have a all these attributes that like an entity would have. It's an act. It's an action. I
don't think it's an action. I think it's a word we use to describe different actions.
Sure. I mean, well, if you commit a crime, you ought to get punished for that because it's you did something that was evil. Right? Or you did something that was...
Right. Which is the difference between somebody actually going and taking a chainsaw and killing someone and then someone pretending to in an act of play and drama and, for an adrenaline rush, as Alyssa was talking about, like as a funny thing during Halloween. Those are two completely different things. Like it's not even comparable.
Like even, have you ever played with like paintball guns or airsoft guns, like those types of Nerf guns, like water guns?
I agree.
Any of those things are play, like it's play, and you don't actually want to shoot somebody. It's play and it's fun.
I guess what I'm trying to get to two different categories, right? The category is one that you're just trying to do it for fun. If you go to these Halloween events, it's not evil. You're not doing anything evil. But the Halloween itself, the theme, it's a reflection of evil. You know what I mean? it's a reflection of anything that's negative, anything that's against life, against you know, that's what I'm
it's
trying to
making,
get at. I guess
it's making light of death and dying and violence. I would agree with that.
No, I think so. Because if you have a chainsaw that's like chasing after one and trying to just split their guts all open, the act itself, it's evil. It's not making fun of death. It's making fun. It's just reflecting an evil act.
But
I don't know what you mean by reflecting versus it's like making light of it is what I said. Like it's making light. It's like turning it into a funny thing. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
I also think that
What's funny about someone going and chainsawing somebody? Like
it's really funny when you take your friends to Universal Studios Fright Night and you're standing there talking with like some glow drink and somebody runs up with a chainsaw that makes a really loud noise and they hit the pavement and scare the shit out of your friend and you all laugh together. Like that's why people do this, because it's funny.
Yeah. And I think that it's the adrenaline rush of feeling like you're like in danger when you're not. Like you're putting yourself in a situation where you know you're completely safe, whether you're at Fright Night, which is so fun. So like one of the like my favorite nights I've ever had.
I'm like making up names for it.
God,
yeah.
it's so fun. But it's you're getting that adrenaline rush of like of danger the way that you would if you were to go skydiving, but you're doing it in a controlled environment. And it's I would say arguably way safer to go to one, not arguably, it is way safer to go to like a scary haunted house, Fright Night, watch a scary movie, get dressed up. That is so much safer than many of the adrenaline seeking activities that people seek out.
Put aside just for the sake of the argument, for the sake of the of stating something that we can agree on. Like, I'm not trying to like debate over like the funny stuff or whatever, right? But like I'm just trying to like as like the portrayal, right? The portrayal of the Halloween events or whatever, is it evil itself? Like, is it portraying evil? Not the just try to get a laugh out of it, just trying to get adrenaline rush, but is it portraying evil?
Do you think that it is evil for someone to dress up and use a pretend chainsaw and run around and scare somebody that chose to go in on a Fright Night to experience something like that?
It's not evil, but still, you can't run away from the fact that you're portraying evil. That's what I'm trying to get at.
So, I guess I'm just still like not understanding what your point is about like portraying evil, because then like then is the Bible, then I'll agree, like the Bible is portraying a shit ton of evil. So then kind of like, what is the point? Like, I guess I'm not,
like,
I'm just not very clear.
Like, what was it portraying?
In the Bible?
Right.
Well, I mean, I just mentioned this part of the Bible earlier in another call where God sends a group of bears to maul some kids for making fun of a bald dude.
Yeah, it does say that, but I can say that it had to do with divine revelation and a goal in mind.
What's the divine revelation there? Don't make fun of people that are bald or else God will send a bear to eat you?
It's had to do with making fun of someone that God had in place for being a really important prophet, that he said, don't mess with my divine nature. That's
okay, I have a question.
Let me take your life and let me take it out where it's much better.
Cool. Would you send a group of bears, if you were God, would you send a group of bears to maul some kids if they made fun of Jesus Christ himself?
No, but I'm not God.
Right. So you're better than God. And like I said, in the Bible, it's portraying evil, which you're saying is like what Halloween is, and that's somehow, but like your Bible is worse than that because it supposedly actually happened.
We can't say that we're better than God when we're like actively doing something that's against the nature of good. Like we do stuff. We can't ever say that. We have our capability of thinking about who God is and why God does its reasons. It's beyond our head.
Alexander, because we're getting to like this rhetoric that is very common. And we have a couple more calls to take before the show closes. I know we got a little bit off topic here. I'm gonna ask you to go back and listen to this call because you just defended some things that you were speaking against in the first half of the call. And to me, that's really interesting and really telling. I think it would be cool for you to go back and listen and hear how that breaks down because you're calling some things evil and then you're going on to defend it when it's in your Bible and when your God does it. And that to me is revealing the dogma that's at hand.
I'm sorry, can I say one more thing?
Yeah.
So one act of a bear is going towards the kids is way more evil than the whole nature and reflection of what Halloween is portraying.
I'd say wiping out. I would say creating a species. It was creating lots of species, but including humans, and having the foresight, knowing exactly what's going to happen when you do that, and doing it anyways, knowing that you are going to very quickly turn around and kill all of them in a flood. We're talking a lot of people. And then that you're going to go on to incite wars, to sign off on genocides, to just be completely silent in the middle of the Holocaust. I would say that all of that, in my perspective, is not reflecting evil. It's actually evil if there were a God able to interfere in any of that. I'm going to rub off my cat nose. But
okay.
So like we can go, it's not just the bear story. I brought that up because it was from another call. I'll let you say something else because, again, we got really off topic. And you're welcome to call back if you want to talk about these specifics.
One question so that you can answer it in like a straightforward answer. And it's for the state. Do y'all really think that that men protect women? Is that because that's the topic you guys wanted to talk about on the other one?
Again, like I started in the other, that was a title. I don't even know if Alyssa knows that was the title of the show that somebody else picked for us. So that's not what the show ended up being about. I would love for you to call back specifically to ask about that next time we're on.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
to talk about that because that's a whole other topic.
I think Halloween is evil, portraying evil, and I don't know how anybody cannot see that when they go through a maze, but it is what it is.
Well, I think Halloween is really fun.
Unfortunately, we didn't get to like very good definitions or defenses of that position, but I really appreciate you calling. You're welcome to call back another time with like a more. Hey, Alexander, I'm in the middle of a sentence. You're welcome to call back sometime when you have like a more clear argument. I think maybe this one was a little too nuanced as what happened or something was lost in translation. And we can talk about it. Maybe next time you can call and say exactly what you think evil is, like what the definition of evil is. Alexander, the fact that you're talking over me over and over and over again makes me want to say, don't ever call back again. So if you want to stop and listen to what I'm saying, okay, cool. I'm going to let you go.
That was crazy. Oh, did you hear that?
What did he say?
He said, fucking bitch. That was crazy.
Oh, Alexander. I was being really, I was trying to help him get to his argument. I think he was nervous in the beginning because I don't know about you, but I wasn't following what his point was for a really long time. I was trying to hang in there with him.
That was crazy. Sure. I can't
end it on that note, Alexander.
I'm so glad that you didn't drop the call right at that moment and that we called that because that was crazy.
Also, I love that he was originally going to call in to talk about protecting women and he ends the call with calling me a fucking bitch.
Right. But also, again, literally it's crazy because right before we took his call, I just said this. We have had people on where we do not agree with them. And we have had full back and forth conversations where we've literally gotten to a point where we're like, you know what, we're talking in circles. We just don't see eye to eye and that's it. But like, thanks for a great conversation. And we hang up. We do that regularly on this show.
Maybe more than any other kind of calls that we get. I think we have a lot of those.
So when people call and we cannot understand like what the argument is or like they're just a little unclear, which is okay. Like people are not having to defend themselves and the things that they privately think, whatever. on a regular basis. So I get why that happens. But for you to then say like, hey, call back when you're a little more clear, because like this stuff is like, we can't argue on this. We can't debate on this because it's not clear enough. And then for him to just talk over you and then call you a fucking bitch. Sorry, you're bad at this. Sorry, your points are unclear. What's wrong with you? Also, the theme for this whole show, by the way, which was someone had said this in the chat, so like this is not my original thought, but the theme for this show is that we're not allowed to have fun anymore. Fun is canceled. No fun.
Fun is gone.
Fun is canceled. Did you know? Did you know about it?
Yeah, we should start dressing up for Halloween like in January and in March and just all the time as a protest. Because that's so evil of us to want to have fun. We do have 2 more calls to get through. If you guys want to send in your super chats of $5 or more, we'll get to those at the end. Let's see. We'll try to get through these fairly quickly. Let's talk to Ethan. Hey, Ethan, you are on with Eve and Alyssa. What did you want to talk with us about tonight?
So I think my headline is a little bit the name I gave for this topic is a little bit clickbaity, but it was the best way I could put it. I know that you two hate that term, promiscuous, but it was the only thing I could think of. I apologize. I heard
it's okay. You can just tell us, like, if you can summarize your argument in 1 sentence or 2 or whatever, that would be amazing. We can go from there.
I heard on a few of your videos with this one interesting character who was probably a troll, talking about restricting women's rights. I think it was Alyssa who said that there is no difference between someone who has sex and someone who has sex and someone who doesn't. And I took how do I put this? I disagree, and the reason I disagree is because sexually transmitted diseases exist, and I was just calling to get your opinion on that. Do you still disagree? Do you think that the statement is true?
Yeah, I still think it's true. There's no biological difference. Obviously, if you have an STD, then yeah, like that's different. But I'm talking about when people have safe, protected sex. You could have sex one time and get an STD, and you could have sex 100 times and not get one. So the amount of people that you have sex with is not a reflection of really anything.
Yeah, and I think you would be making a point if every single time, like if you only had or only could get STDs through the act of intercourse, and that happened to everyone who ever had intercourse, then yes, you could make an argument for now, like there is a biological sign that you have had sex. But the problem is, it's like, then how do we define sex? Also, not everybody that has sex gets an STD. So I think that's where it's like that. It just doesn't make sense to me to make that an argument.
There's also STDs that you can get from doing things that are not like penis in vagina sex, which when people talk about like losing their virginity or having sex, many times that's what they're referring to. And we know that sex is like a big broad spectrum of a host of activities between people with all different kinds of bodies. And so are you ringing my bell, by the way, every now and then?
Your cowbell is so cute. Every time it just like wiggles. You're like making a good point.
I don't hear any bell.
Sorry, Ethan.
But yeah, so I also think that the thinking about that conversation of, does body count matter? Whether you're a virgin or not, does that matter? Then you have to also think about, well, what is sex to you? What counts as sex for you? And that can already be sort of a nuanced conversation in and of itself. And really, at the end of the day, the reason that I bring up that conversation as often as I do is because I want people to question why they ask that question. Because if your concern is STIs or STDs, then that's a conversation that you have. You say, have you been tested for any STDs? And if they say yes, and I'm good to go, I have nothing on my test, great. Then you can proceed. That's the conversation that you can have. The conversation instead of have you had sex, how many people have you had sex with, actually is not really that related to STDs, because you can have sex with one person and get an STD. You can have sex with 100 people and not get one.
That is a very fair point. You're right that it's not a body count matter that correlates with STDs. I didn't think of that, and you're right there. This topic's been kind of like burning on my mind because I don't have access to like healthcare right now, and I'm currently trying to like find partners and stuff. And I was wondering if maybe I had some sort of like bias because I was avoiding people who I knew were sexually active, and maybe that made me a bad person.
No, it doesn't. It just makes you a person who's lived in the culture that we currently have as it stands. Like, I have worked in sex education since 2020, and I think that I only started to really feel in my bones like I really believe that body count doesn't matter maybe a year ago. Because it's one of those things where like I could say it, but in my mind I'm like, oh God, it's so hard to let go of. Because we grew up believing that. It's a really tough thing to let go of. But I think what helped me in that whole process was to just continue to ask myself why. Why do I think that it matters? Why do I think that I need to make it like some sort of judgment call on other people based on the amount of people that they've slept with? If I know that they don't have an STD, why do I need that information? What do I gain from that? And really like drilling down on that. And so I don't think that you're a bad person. I think that you're just like the product of the society that we live in. And I also think you wanting to have this conversation, and I say this on the show all the time, but like people who call in with questions like this and people who want to have this conversation, you already have signaled that you are leagues above people who I would actually consider to be like crappy people, because you care. Like, you care enough to have this conversation, you care enough to call, and you cared enough to even just have this sit in your brain for a period of time.
Like I there's been like a few times where either Eve, I'm not sure if I saw you, but it was just Eve alone was on the show, and I thought about calling in, and then I saw you both on, and I was like, hey, this is a perfect opportunity.
Yeah.
Alyssa is the best communicator for this, for sure. My opinion is that I fully agree with her. The conversation shouldn't be, I think it's great that you're wanting to have responsible sex, and I think that's maybe at the heart of what you're saying. But I think that conversation, just even for your own safety, shouldn't be, well, how many people have you slept with, or have you slept with anyone before? Because also there's all kinds of other health things that are transmittable for like COVID, you know? So I think the question that you should be asking is like, what's your, like, have you been tested? You know, what's your health status? Or even just being really honest and saying, look, I am wanting to be really responsible on my health right now. Can we have an open conversation about this? Because as Alyssa said, you can sleep with 100 people and have nothing going on. You can have slept with one person or even just been sexually assaulted, which I don't think people should be required to be like, oh yeah, I've had sexual partners when it was sexual assault, and they can have something. And you want to, like, that's fair. That is totally fair to want to have informed consent. So I think that's valid. I also think it's not protecting you to have a conversation only about body count or about body count at all. Just to reiterate what Alyssa's saying.
Like, thank you very much. You interpreted how I was looking at this. I really was looking at like a body count thing instead of like a disease thing, which is the factually better way to look at it. Thank you for opening my mind to that.
Oh, anytime. Thank you for calling and being open. Like, I appreciate your wanting to be vulnerable and open about this conversation. Like, it helps other people who are listening to hear these conversations happen. So I appreciate you calling with this.
Sorry for the awkward start. I hope you have a good time.
Thanks so much, Ethan.
The rest of the show goes smoothly.
Thank you.
Ethan.
Thanks for
Have
calling. You're welcome to call back. Bye-bye. We've got one last caller. Yeah, I didn't know where it was going, but it went well. I feel like I was on the defense after that last caller. We've got Ian to chat with, and then we'll get to our super chats of $5 or more. So let's bring in Ian. Hey, Ian, how are you doing? This is Eve and Alyssa.
I'm doing great. Hi, Eve. Hi, Alyssa.
Hi.
What did you want to chat with us about tonight?
I've kind of just got up the courage to call about this because I phoned in to speak with Arden and Josie about election stuff the other day.
Oh, nice.
But I'm Aero Ace, and I've really only come to terms with that from going to therapy and stuff over the last 5 years. So it's been a few years that I've identified like that, but I've not like come out to family or friends or anything. And I've been thinking about doing that, but I'm really nervous to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Are you nervous?
I think that,
oh, yeah, sorry. Go ahead. Sorry. No, you go ahead.
I was just going to say, I'm not nervous as I think that anybody would reject me. Also, my family is religious, but they're, they are. My mum and my aunt are quite religious, but I think they would be okay because one of like my second cousins is trans, and they will still talk to them and be around them and be nice. So I think they're, at least if they have any bad opinions, they keep them to themselves.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Do you think that is it something that's really important for you to share with them? Like, do you feel like it will improve your quality of life to share with them?
In some way, yeah, because I mean, for the last however many years, I've kind of felt lost, didn't really know who I was, and I still feel like that in some regards, which is why I'm still on medication and recently had more therapy. But like in regards to this feels comfortable. Like this is who I am.
It's exciting for you to have figured out this piece of a puzzle that kind of lays out the picture of you. Is that maybe fair to say?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, in the past, I've blamed myself for not having very successful relationships, not having many, not understanding why things went wrong. And at the end of the day, it, like, I know it's different for everybody, but like, I really didn't understand like how it worked because I wasn't invested in it without knowing why.
I would consider
I think
framing
I'm more
it.
nervous of.
You go ahead. There's a big delay. I'm sorry.
To them. Like if they have questions, it's like I don't know how to express it or explain it to myself sometimes. So it's like they're going to have questions.
Yeah.
And I'm going I don't know.
if this resonates with you at all, I would consider framing it to them as letting them in on some exciting news that you learned about yourself. So exciting that you want to share it because it kind of helped make sense of some things that you've tried to figure out for years. And if you want to let them in on some of those examples, it's up to you. Like what you want to share is up to you. But I think, it sounds like you have a loving family and all of that. The fact that you're wanting to share this with them means that, as you said, there's a sign that they're open to hearing new information like this. And I think if you present it like, hey, I finally figured some stuff out. I've been through a lot of therapy. I've done a lot of hard work, and I'm excited to share with you guys what I figured out. And I want to let you in on that. And then share also, this is very vulnerable for me. And if you have questions, you can ask. I don't know if I'll have answers yet. I'm still figuring this out. It's exciting. It's a journey. And I wanted to let you all in on it. And I don't think that you owe them any more than that. Well, you don't owe them that at all. But if you're wanting to share, it's totally fine to lay that out. It's also fine to say, I figured this out. Also, I'm not open to questions yet if you don't want to have questions. But I think it would be fair to say that questions are welcome and that you just may not have an answer for them yet.
Yeah. I think that's totally fair. And I think it's also I think people will surprise you with what they're open to. If you have a relative who is trans, then you have a family member who already has had a coming out process. And so I feel like they will probably be as welcoming to this part of you as well. I think it's, when you really care about somebody and they're able to just explain, hey, this is something that's like really an interesting thing that I'm learning about myself, that, best case scenario, they're able to just embrace that about you. And I think if you can, yeah, like Eve was saying, say it in a way that's like exciting, that I figured out some interesting things about myself, and I'm going to continue to, kind of continue to work on myself and have this be like a moving, growing project. But I just wanted to let you know that this is how I'm going to identify moving forward. And so maybe like, if they've ever tried to like set you up with anyone or ask you questions about that, you can let them know I'm just like not really interested, not really open to that. And I just wanted to let you guys know because I really care about you, and I want us to always, be kind of on the same page. I feel like it's going to be great. I really do. And it's exciting for you to be able to have a way to frame your life experience. And I can't imagine that they won't be excited for you in that circumstance too.
Yeah, I guess setting up some boundaries I'm comfortable with while I'm telling them makes sense.
Yeah.
And tell them why I have, like, I'm only comfortable talking about this much because it's all new. So, yeah.
Yeah. You could share something with them and just be like, I am not open to feedback at this time, but I just want to let you know. And that's so fine. That's a perfectly fine and comfortable boundary to draw.
Yeah.
And
the only other thing is, although they are, well, I would say most of my family won't be surprised. I wouldn't say that like they don't, like they wouldn't care, but like it won't change how they are around me at all.
Yeah, nor should it.
But especially my aunt, she has expressed some pretty bad opinions and views about LGBTQIA plus basically anybody who's non-standard. So, I mean, I have challenged her on the past, but yeah, I think I'm going to have to be like, if you're going to be around me, like, no.
Yeah, I think setting boundaries is a really healthy part, and that should be the asset to you coming out. Like coming out should be because you want to, because it's going to help improve your life. And oftentimes boundary setting is where you really get to see that payoff. Sorry, Alyssa, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, I was going to say exactly the same thing. Set the boundaries in advance. And it's sort of like if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all situation. They can check their opinions at the door because you're not open to them. And if they want to continue to be a part of your life and a part of this journey with you, then they have to kind of accept you as you are.
Yeah. That gets into it's interesting issues I have with conflict, but I'm working on that.
Yeah. That is totally normal. And that's what I was going to also say is, I don't know, I sometimes get like when I have to share information like that with somebody, I get the like heart palpitations and I get really nervous, and suddenly my ability to communicate just goes out the window and my emotional responses are way elevated, and that's not an asset in that situation. So I was going to say, if it helps you, you can always just write, like an email or a letter. Sometimes writing things out and leaving a little bit of distance and time between like the delivery of the news and then their response, because then they have to sit and think about it before they respond. And you can just like sit back, you can say things how you want. You don't have to worry about anybody interrupting you. You can take the time to collect your thoughts fully, and then you can go have the conversation in person. Or if it's really important to you to talk to people in person, you can write something out and read it to them. But a lot of times it helps to have your thoughts collected in an organized way. And for me, that's on paper.
A great idea.
But there's nothing wrong with that, and that doesn't I think some people have this idea that you owe somebody a face-to-face conversation, but let's be clear, you don't owe them this conversation at all. It's for your benefit. It's something that you are giving them the privilege of being let in on. And so you get to decide how you deliver that. And I recommend doing it in a way that's going to cause you the least anxiety.
Yeah. And also in the chat, some people were talking about Takis, which is Takis on Saturday? What day do we do Takis this week? Thursday? Okay. Oh my God. Yeah, right. And they were saying that would also be a great place to call. And they would probably have some really great insight for you there too. So if you want more support and like just different people to have this conversation with or different opinions, that would be another great resource for you too. But I also love the idea of writing everything down. I think that's great.
Yeah. If things get awkward, I'm worried that, like Eve was saying, important things like this, when you're trying to explain it, you get flustered, you get nervous, you get inside your own head. But when that happens to me, I tend to dissociate, which means I can't really think. And like I lose my train of thought, and sometimes I'm not in the room.
Yeah, I do the same thing. And what's really cool about the idea of doing an email, if that is something you can do, and maybe some of the conversations you handle differently with each individual, but you can put in some resources for them. Like here's, maybe there's a website that you found helpful, or a definition or an explanation, or a YouTube video of somebody talking about it, then you get to use some of these other resources that are out there so that you don't have to have all the answers, because that's not your responsibility,
Yeah, I guess, because like I could phrase it as like, if you want to know more, like there's people who can explain it better than me.
Yeah.
Or if you're happy asking the questions that I can answer, then that's cool too.
That's amazing. Well, I'm also just want to say congratulations on all of the hard work you put into to reach this point where you're even able to discover this about yourself, to get to know yourself on that level, and to go through therapy and all that stuff, because I'm sure this is not the only thing you've worked on. And it just always makes me so happy to hear about somebody putting effort into themselves like that. So congrats on that.
Yeah. I'll allow myself at 46. It's interesting being a bit more comfortable with yourself after all that time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I'm sure it's so relieving too.
Yeah, and it's amazing to continue to dedicate your time and your energy to figuring yourself out at any age. Like, I think you'll also grow and expand and change as you get older too. And to be committed to knowing yourself to that degree is really beautiful, and you should feel really proud.
Oh, thanks for all the kind words.
Thanks so much, Ian. Really appreciate you calling.
I love the wine.
Thank you.
Good.
Thanks so much. Well, call us back anytime, especially if you end up, having this conversation and you want to share with us how it went. I would love to hear an update. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Ian. Have a great evening.
Thanks a lot.
Good night. Bye. Aw, I'm glad we got to end it on a super
happy
nice note there. Yeah,
that was super nice.
Most of it was fine. Kind of. I don't know.
It was the no fun show.
Yeah, we're like over here just having fun while we can before we find out the election results next week. But anyways, shall we get to those super chats now?
Let's do it.
Okay. Also, you're just so cute. And the bell going off was my favorite thing. Oh, now we all get to see like my messy bed over here. $5 for Monkey at Typewriter. All I want is for Alyssa to have a deeply personal, heartfelt talk with a caller while in that costume. Great costumes. Yeah. If she had been wearing Mike Wazowski with that one guy, I don't remember his name, but that would have been amazing.
Oh, that would have been so funny, because my arms don't come out like far enough in that thing, so it would just be like little Mike Wazowski arms, like
or talking to the like Halloween is evil and being like, I don't think Halloween is evil, and you're dressed up as Mike Wazowski. Yeah. Oh my God.
$5 from Jamnik06. Did you hear about the invisible man who went to the doctor? He's still waiting to be seen. #Spooktober. #cute joke. #not a poop joke. That's funny.
Thank you.
I like it.
Oh, Alyssa, you missed it. I don't even want to say this because I hope that it doesn't inspire some of you. But last week when I was on here with Arden, everyone decided to send in poop jokes, which I think that's so yucky. And
hilarious.
It was, of course, I appreciate the support, but having to read the poop jokes was just too much for me.
That's so funny.
$10 from Dew. I had to make my own Mike Wazowski costume. Yours is so much better. I don't know. I feel like a DIY version must be amazing as well. Yes. I wish we could see it. That is hilarious.
Also, this costume I got from Spirit Halloween the day after Halloween, so I got it 50% off. And
that's brilliant.
I was working there at the time. Last year, I did a little brief stint at Spirit Halloween. Never do that. If you enjoy Halloween, don't do that. You'll live there. But the employee discount was nice. But so I think I paid like $15 for that costume. But go to Spirit Halloween the day after Halloween because you get everything super, super discounted. It's great.
I'm going to do that now. That's incredible.
Yeah. $5 from Monkey a Typewriter. Oh, by the way, I was listening to your album today and it's really dope. I haven't like absorbed it yet, but I'm loving it so far. Progeny? How do you say that?
Progeny.
1 and 2 especially. Listen. I like Progeny 2. Progeny 2 gets me.
Oh, it's nice. So that's cool.
It's so
Thanks so
good.
much for listening. Yeah, it's a wild ride. It's a concept record, so I mean, you heard it. It changes drastically in sound from beginning to end. If you're a pop person like me, then you'll probably enjoy the end of it more. But there's this like grungy alt thing happening in the beginning that I really love. So thank you so much. $5 from Jamnick06. What do you call a pile of cats? A meowton. That's good. Hashtag Eve was framed as a cat. Hashtag how you feeling. Hashtag feline fine. Hashtag pun power. That's good. That's really good.
Power. That's good. I love it. $10 from Jamnick06. At Ariana the Heathen wants you to know that Chewed Gum is one of her favorite shows on the line. I love you both, and you are inspiring to me as I recover from purity culture in my late 50s. Wow!
Thank you so much
for you. Yeah, thank you so much. And
Jamnick, that was so kind of you to send in the super chat for.
Yeah, that was super kind. And Ariana, you should call sometime and chat with us.
Yes, do it. $10 Canadian from Anarcho Possum. Do you think secular holidays like Halloween or modern Christmas encourage too much consumerism? I'd like to hear your thoughts on that. Happy Halloween, girls. Absolutely. Totally, fully, 100%. And yet here we are living in it. And so I am indulging in it, just like I'm indulging in so many things that I don't love. But especially when there's things like the election next week, I'm like, you know what? I'm drawing on a cat nose and I'm putting on the cat ears because, but I think that's an easy way for us to cut back on consumerism is to do more of also like the DIY stuff. I love the idea of homemade, like my friend and I decorated for Christmas last year together and we made, I had leftover lunch, like, what do you call it? Brown paper bags. And we made those, she knew how to make them into snowflakes and we like painted them and put them all over on twine. And it was really cute. And then I could recycle them when we were done instead of just having like a bunch of plastic stuff. So, but I fully agree.
Yeah, I agree. And I also think that people don't take advantage of going to secondhand places for costumes and decorations because people wear costumes literally one night, and then they don't know what to do with them. They send them off to like Goodwill or whatever. And so yeah, you should, if you have a store near you, like a thrift or whatever, you should look for Halloween costumes there. And Halloween decorations and Christmas decorations, like any holiday decorations, especially ones that were made like 20 plus years ago, are such better quality than any of the stuff that they make now. So you'll get cooler stuff. It'll have more character and it'll last you longer and it'll probably be cheaper. So yeah.
Love it.
$13.99 Canadian from Gnome Sane. How do I navigate the relationship with my mother when she thinks I deserve hell? How can there be any love there? My 10-year-old no longer wants to visit her grandma. Me neither. XO.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, I mean, right off the bat, if you don't want to and your 10-year-old doesn't want to either, then you're under no obligation to do that. And sometimes it helps even to just take a break and to express why. You can say, hey, I can't be contact with somebody who thinks that I deserve eternal torment. And, I don't know if a compromise for you would be to not bring it up. I don't know if just knowing that in and of itself is tough for you. That's for you to figure out. But I think that's a great place to set a boundary and at minimum, take a break.
Yeah, agreed.
$5 from Melatonin Ale. I was wondering what I could use in place of bless you when someone sneezes because it feels weird saying nothing. Hail Satan is perfect. Yeah, my husband and I started that a while back, and now it's just a thing. The hard part is that I have to remember to not say it in some circumstances. So, because I'm not trying to be at my family's house and say Hail Satan when they sneeze. So then I revert back. Anyways.
What do you say when you're around your family? Do you just say bless you?
Yeah, because I don't care. To me, it's just it's just a courtesy, whatever. I don't think it's real no matter what. I don't think I'm hailing Satan, and I don't think I'm blessing anybody. So I'll say whatever makes that person feel like I did the weird human tradition that we have of acknowledging a sneeze, which is already fucking weird, but it's kind of funny. So I keep doing it.
I love it. $6.66, hilarious, from Jamie M. Eve's Hail Satan to Alyssa's sneeze was amazingly adorkable. That made my night.
I like that Alyssa just fully went with it and was just like, thank you. There was no questions asked. That was just obviously
just another Tuesday.
Yeah, exactly. $5 from Jamnick06. Why do cows wear bells? Because their horns don't work. That's really good. Hashtag I've got a fever. Hashtag Alyssa was a cow framed as Mike Wazowski. Hashtag how are you feeling? Hashtag feeling bovine.
I love it.
Amazing.
A nice little bell. $10 from Nathan Heavenstone. This anarcho-communist voted for Kamala Harris, my God, today because I can fight for that utopia after the fascist loses.
Thank you. Thank you for that very rational, reasonable, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I deeply respect that you can hold the position that you do and be pragmatic at the same time.
Yes,
that is how we see change. So, sorry, me. $5 from Carissa Grimm. Imperius gets his name from Warhammer, the game where you spend tons of money and time to play make-believe. He also gets very emotional very quickly. Yeah, that was intense. That was extremely intense. Is that really where that's from? I have an ex that painted Warhammer figures. Wow.
Shut up. Oh, I want to kick that guy's ass now. Is he kidding me?
Alyssa.
That's crazy. He sucks.
Fascinating.
$5 from Carly Carrot. Ma'am.
That was so annoying. I feel like I was being really calm despite that happening.
My God.
I don't like being called ma'am in general. It's just so Southern tradition, and I just think it's weird. But I know that people don't always mean it in a bad way. That just felt irritating as fuck.
It didn't seem like he was doing it in a Southern tradition way. Also, we say you're on the line with Eve and Alyssa, and also we introduce ourselves in the beginning of the show, and also our names are at the bottom of the fucking screen.
Yeah, you could just say my name.
Call us by our names.
Yeah, great point. Call us by our names. That should be our next merch. I keep rubbing my nose off. This is so embarrassing. Fix it.
You made it to the end of the show.
I did. $5 from Jamnick06. Why did the fastest cat in class get kicked out of school? He was a cheetah. Hashtag did you spot the pun? Yes, that's good. Hashtag back to cat jokes. Hashtag police don't ban me. Amazing. Thank you, Jamnick.
$25 from the Eagle fan. Keep up the good work. Halloween isn't evil. Anyone thinking this demonstrates exactly how religion ruins the ability to critically think. I agree.
Yeah, thanks for the support. Yeah, that's what I was trying to point out to that guy is that, you're the one thing you're defending over here, you're ignoring over here. It's just, it's dogma.
Yeah. Yeah.
$5 from Animal Lover. Imperious told Forrest it was okay to kill babies if God says so. He's a jerk. Yeah, we didn't even get to really any hot takes from him because he wasn't able to get to a point.
Everyone was saying to watch him on the show yesterday to like really see him in his full.
I will absolutely go look that up, and then I'll text Forrest about it and tell him, guess who came a calling today.
Wow. I'm gonna check it out. I need to know what that was like. $5 from Carissa Grimm. What do cows read the most? Catalogs. That's very cute. How did the two cats end their fight? They hissed and made up. # bad jokes. # cow and cat jokes. I love
That's
it.
amazing.
I love them both.
$10 from, okay, look, I know how to say it now, but now I'm afraid now I'm overthinking it. Can you say it for me?
Mr. Boricua 10.
That's what I was going to say, Boricua, but then I was like, what if that's...
You got it.
What if that's wrong and it's the other way I was saying it and I mixed it up? Anyways, thank you. I'd say Imperious has a high dose of copium and sexism at the least as his fuel source. Probably. Man could not take no for an answer. Annoying. Alexander, people like having fun. No evil. That's it. Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
$5 from Luis Morales. Long time, first time. Imperious probably brings loaded dice to cheat at the Warhammer table with unpainted minis. # death. I don't understand all of that.
I'm going to assume that that's an insult at the Warhammer situation.
That's so... I can't believe that's Lewis. Where his name is from.
Yeah, that's wild.
So insane.
$10 from SJL. I grew up Catholic, left it 40 plus years ago. Imperious strikes me as either a troll or a very strange flavor of Catholic. Maybe Northeast Irish Catholic was just more laid back. If we had been able to continue talking, we may have gotten to a point where we could have heard whatever that perspective was.
Yeah. Do you think that he just hung up by accident or on purpose? Because he was in the middle of a sentence, but I'm like, I wonder if that was a tactic to make it seem like it was by accident.
It had to have been on purpose. I think that was a tactic because why wouldn't you call back?
Yeah.
And we can see he's probably relying on us not being able to see all this information. He did not try to call back. So maybe his phone died. If we're going to give a benefit of the doubt, let's go with that. Maybe. His phone died. In which case, hey, check your phone charge before you call a call-in show and complain that you're not getting enough time on air.
Right. Agreed. £10 from Herbie Shine. No message, just a super chat. Thank you, Herbie.
Thanks, Herbie. You're always so thoughtful. $10 from Get Stanfield. I'm dressing up as Iron Man this season for my nephew, and I'm an adult. LOL. Happy Halloween, everyone. I love that. I think it's so great. What is wrong with a little bit of like joy and fun? It's just silly.
I agree.
Such a silly thing.
I agree. I haven't worn this costume since last year, and I either stretched it out or I layered underneath it. It's very
cute on you, though. It's very cute.
It's very. I'm glad
not
it is
as roomy as your Mike Wazowski.
That's true. And when I remember wearing it last year, I was nervous to put it on this year because I remembered wearing it last year and being like, "This is a little snug," but I have some room in it this year, so I must have stretched it out. Anyways, $5 from Skeptoidius. Here's $5 for me to say DT is an absolute clown. Who's DT?
Agreed. Donald Trump.
Oh,
that guy.
I felt very disconnected from. I feel like I'm getting sick.
That you are.
Literally, I feel like I'm getting sick as the show has been going on, and my brain is slowing down.
I'm so sorry. That's what happened to me a couple of weeks ago in the middle of the podcast recording.
It's so weird. It's Alyssa. I'm hoping maybe it's just a sinus thing. Anyway, DT is an absolute clown. He is an absolute clown. Inept as a box of rocks and a brain as smooth as a marble, like a little beach boy. Oh, okay. I got it. So I'm sorry. I'm doing my best. My brain is like,
you're doing amazing. We'll get through these quick and then you can get to bed.
My brain is smoothing out as the night goes.
$5 for Monkey at Typewriter. You got to remember it's election season. Clearly Alexander and Imdustus are running neck and neck in the mayoral race for the city from Footloose.
Yeah, that was so funny.
Thanks, Monkey.
No fun.
Wild.
$5 from Sergio Lopez. Imperious sounded butthurt he couldn't get a raise from Forrest and was told he was being emotional. Love you two hosts.
Oh, is that what happened? Oh, that's funny.
I think so. Everyone was saying he was being very emotional on that
I
call.
I was like, why are you telling me to
Forrest
calm down?
refused to rise to the occasion. He just kept it calm.
I wonder if he called in planning to accuse one of us of being emotional. Because it was like, I was same energy, and it was still, anyways, whatever. $5 from Jamnik06. A frog has more lives than a cat because it croaks every day. Hashtag not a poop joke. Hashtag still a cat joke. Hashtag froggy in a bottle. Hashtag ribbit the right way. Hashtag Christina Amphibera. Thank you, Jamnik.
That's really funny. $9.99 from Rainku. Solstice Interrupted was great. Not really my kind of music, but hauntingly beautiful. Your voice is incredible. My favorite tracks were What and Exit Wounds.
Thank you. That is a huge compliment. When it's not somebody's typical style of music to listen to, which I will say this album is, it takes you all over the place genre-wise. However, it definitely is like more niche in some ways. It means a lot that you were still able to listen enough to have favorite songs. So that's cool. It's a pretty fun song. It's like Garden of Eden meets Satan sort of song. And Exit Wounds, we wrote with this guy, Benjamin Francis Leftwich, who he writes for the 1975 and Holly Humberstone. And then our other friend played on it and wrote it with us, Doug Showalter, who played on Harry Styles and Miley Cyrus's latest or last album. So it's that's good taste to pick that as one of your favorite songs. $5 from The Rod. Nice watching the Pussycat and the Heifer this evening. Good show. That was like the worst possible ways to call what we are, but that's amazing. Thank you.
Well, I'll take it.
Yes.
$5 from Hypa. Hypa? I hope I'm saying that right. Wild show tonight in a good way. Hope we see more Mike Wazowski as a potential host. I'll keep an eye out for them.
I feel like you should have it on standby where if a call is going south, we should just take you off screen for a second and then Mike Wazowski should step in.
I'm so down for that. I need to get like my full money's worth out of that costume. I actually haven't worn it like to a Halloween party yet. So maybe it'll just be like my like asshole costume. Like when someone's just being an asshole, I'll just put it on and come back.
That's perfect.
And then
I love it.
That could be our internal symbol. Is this me or you?
I don't know. I'll take it. $5 from President Starscream. What do you get when an animal can't make full use of that which it consumes? Solid waste. Did I do the poop joke right?
Nice.
Unfortunately. Thank you.
Nice. Very good. $5 from Jamnik06. What kind of music do toads like? Hip hop. Hashtag totally wart it. Hashtag double points for double puns. I love it. You were full of puns today, Jamnik06. Full of them.
Amazing. Thanks for all the support.
Wow.
200 ARS. I'm not sure what that means, but thank you. From Olivia B. Just my daily 20 cents. Amazing. Thanks, Olivia. $10 from... Oh, I'll let you take it.
$10 from Moira Bannister. No self-respecting, full realized, empowered woman would vote for Trump. I agree. Also, ARS is Argentine pesos.
Oh, cool. All the way from Argentina. Yeah, I mean, I think the problem is women don't realize that they aren't respecting themselves by vote. They've been convinced to vote against their best interests. I don't think that they're sitting there like, I don't respect myself, so I'm going to do this. I think they really do believe that, and that's what's really sad and heartbreaking is how many people have been convinced that the thing that goes against their own best interests is the thing that they should do. And that is the most devastating thing for me to watch play out. $5 from Mahalia Yaga. Dealing with certain folks in these debates is like dealing with a bad case of constipation. All talk and no action. Hashtag Jamnik06. That's what I thought might happen.
200 Argentinian pesos. Olivia B. Oh, I forgot. Hashtag Team Josie. Whatever we are talking about.
I love
Josie.
I love
Josie.
Josie. Well, Josie's one of the hosts on Takis.
Oh. Nice. Team Josie.
I know there's so many of us here on the line that we're all still learning who each other is.
There's so many of us. I think this is you.
$5 from Larry Fishman. A la John Cleese. The correct secular response to a sneeze is Hail Sneezer.
That's awesome. $5 from Monkey a Typewriter. Also, I voted. I was going to vote Stein, but then I was treated for the massive head wound. Not so much up with Harris as down with fascists 2024. Yeah.
Yep. Exactly. 200 more Argentinian pesos from Olivia B. Just SC trolling. Thanks, Olivia.
$5 from Jamnik06. What's it called when someone goes number 1 in a haunted bathroom? Creepy PP. That's funny. Hashtag not a poop joke. Hashtag Spooktober joke. That's really funny.
$5 from Jamnik06. What if they go number 2 in a haunted bathroom? Spooky dookie. Wow, that's so bad.
Spooky dookie.
That's so terrible. Hashtag not a poo. Hashtag oops. Hashtag never mind. Hashtag accidental poop joke. Hashtag it just slipped out. Thanks, Jamnik.
That's so funny. Also in the chat, I see people asking how to pronounce my last name, and it is pronounced like Ljub, and my full last name is, like, my legal last name is Ljubicek, and it's more letters after the LJUB, but that's why I shortened it to Ljub, because it's a crazy last name, and also it works for my job. It was just very serendipitous. $5 from Carissa Grimm. Starting a Takis fight on chewed gum. Hashtag Team Arden. Oh my gosh. We can't be fighting.
I feel very loyal to Arden, because Arden is one of my in real life friends too. Not that you guys aren't like all the hosts on here that I know, but I actually haven't communicated with very many. It's like Alyssa, Jimmy. In real life, I've met Forrest, Arden, Matt, of course. Is that it? That might be it, which is crazy because we're all just like here working together.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah.
Thanks, Chris.
I talk to Arden all the time too, and I feel like it's weird that we haven't met each other
in person. Yeah, we need to all hang out.
I just booked my flight to be in the same place. So I'll text.
Yay.
We'll
okay, good. Yay.
Okay.
So excited. Thank you guys so much
for joining us. Wow, we did that at the same time. That was crazy.
We did. Look at us. I'm like so
thank you to Morgan and to our call screeners and our mods. And who else? Who else do we have to thank?
Our Patreon producers. Make sure you head over to patreon.com/calltheline to support what we're doing over here. We're all working overtime right now with election season, happily doing so. And we appreciate all the support to keep things running over here. Love you guys. Thank you so much for everything.